Alright, I'm here in Modesto. Let's go check out Chewy's place.
Hi, welcome to Modesto Power.
Alright. Alright, I'm here in Modesto with Chewy Ybarra. Chewy, thank you for having me, man.
Hey, thanks for coming.
This is a tremendous facility, but let's start with you first. I want you to talk about your background with jiu-jitsu and martial arts.
It all started with me. We just tried to look for some exercise. A company I worked for years ago, the guys were talking about it, and I had seen a little clip on TV with MMA going on when it first started in UFC, and it was Royce Gracie and Shamrock, and I saw it for like 2 or 3 minutes, and when they were talking about it at work, I just asked the question, hey, what was that? And they just came to me and said, oh, that's jiu-jitsu. Would you like to try it? And at the time, I was just looking for a place to exercise. And push-ups, sit-ups, cardio, and they go, well, you'll love it. Just go and try it. And then they went on a little further and says, hey, you know what? If you'll sign up, we'll give you a free gi. So they gave me the gi. The first time I tried it, I threw up. The workout was awesome, and I loved it. And I started there. I signed up, and I had never. I just kept going. The instructor that I had at the time, I trained with him for about 6 months, and then he went back to Brazil, and I was left without an instructor. And the same man that introduced to me, Kurt Losey and Perry Wilson, when I told him, yeah, he went back to Brazil, my instructor went back to Brazil, he goes, you know what, go see Clever Luciano. He's right down the street from where we work, and you'll love it. And I went and my career really started with Clever. That's where I started to, learn quite a lot, very fast. Clever is one of the best in the world, and I was fortunate that I had trained with this man, Alon Goes, when I first started. Alon was one of the best around at the time, and Clever was also. They'd come to America and open their schools. So I started with Clever, and I never stopped, and I kept competing with Clever all for 14 years. That's all I've ever done is competed. So I competed in Brazil, United States, and it's been a pretty cool thing. But all it really started with was exercise. I didn't even care for jiu-jitsu, but a little more and more, it just grabbed a hold of me, and from then on I was hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
So.
And then one of the things you talked about with me earlier is that you took a very studious approach to things, to jiu-jitsu. You would always study and read books, to look at DVDs and all that. How do you apply that to your teaching?
I felt responsible. One day when I was a purple belt, I was asked to teach at another school for my instructor. At that, I was excited to be. I was honored that they even thought of me or considered me. I never thought I was worthy of that, but I was excited. They asked me. I was going to do it for free, and then afterwards he told me, he says, "Hey, oh yeah, we're going to pay you too." And I said, well, I tried to act really cool about it, but they paid me for what I was going to do. So from that point forth, I felt responsible for the students that I would work with. Because as I got into it more, I learned quite a bit in teaching, but I really did assume the responsibility that I'm going to teach those guys how to fight, and I can't leave them not knowing anything. I've got to be able to help them when they ask the questions. So that's when I started to pursue the knowledge, DVDs, books. I mean, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours a night, 6 to 7 days a week. I also was training with Clever morning, in the mornings and at night, 2 times a day, 6 days a week. Some jiu-jitsu was 6 to 7 days a week for me, and constantly studying. And most people who are watching this, know the same thing. Once you're addicted to it, you just want to learn more and more. And I did take that approach, and I did study hours that I had things and learn new techniques, and I still did the same thing now. I feel responsible for my students to get out there and compete, whether it's MMA or jiu-jitsu. That poor guy's out there getting his face smashed. I've got to figure out or think of a way to so that never happens. If he gets an arm bar, how's he going to get out? If he's getting choked, how is he going to get out? Or how is he going to attack somebody? I feel responsible and obligated to my students, and that's just the way I do things. And my instructor taught me that. My instructor is very passionate about what he does, and I see that, and I want to be like that, and I want to be a better instructor than my teacher, Clever. So I have that same, maybe we think a lot the same lines, and I know that all of his students are the same way. They want all their students that are out there competing for their schools. Clever's produced some of the best fighters earlier in jiu-jitsu, and now these guys have their schools, and their schools are the ones winning a lot of the tournaments. And it's evident that he was doing something right with all of us.
Yeah. And just looking at that style and what you bring, especially with the younger kids, I saw some kids here today who are doing phenomenal jiu-jitsu, like very high level things. What are your thoughts about that younger generation, or what's coming next for jiu-jitsu?
Those kids now are it's no longer they're just learning jiu-jitsu, because I get a lot of parents here that want their kids to be some an MMA fighter. So at Modesto Power, we've developed a program where we have jiu-jitsu, and then we have Muay Thai. And there's a 2-hour classes. It's not an hour class. 1 hour of jiu-jitsu, 1 hour of Muay Thai, and then they switch and they go to the other. It's grown like wildfire here. Last year in April, I had 1 or 2 students. Now my kids' classes consist of probably 40 kids in our classes. And I have sign-ups every day. It's growing so fast. I went from 1 instructor to 2 instructors for each class. It's just growing and growing. Family is very big. Clever Jiu-Jitsu is very large. People don't understand that. But my teammates out in Visalia, Elite Jiu-Jitsu, the MMA is Clever Jiu-Jitsu. Steve Redline Jiu-Jitsu is Clever School also. And we have a big family in the Valley. So there's a big organization here. And he's all across the United States, so they ain't small potatoes. But that's where I got the program from. Clever, I watched the way Clever did things. I implement that, and I've added more things to that. In my place, I have many things going on here. I have jiu-jitsu, I have Muay Thai, I have kickboxing. The instructors I have, all of them are high-level elite instructors. I have Olympic athletes that train in here. I fortunately have Steve Abbas here trains. He's come here and train some of my students in the wrestling aspect of things. His insight to the wrestling brings a whole other dimension to my fighters. I've had Davi Ramos, Nogi Pan American champion, teach here as well. He's been here several times, working with our Modesto Power students. And the whole idea is bringing fresh water to the river, because there's not one instructor that knows everything. I have multiple instructors. I have Mike Pop, who's my MMA instructor, Steve Schaber, my Muay Thai instructor. Got Carter Williams, his kickboxing instructor. Carter's former K1 champion. Modesto Power has some of the elite instructors that come here to teach and are teaching here. So you're getting a very high level of the MMA world here, because there's so many cross-training growths. And then on top of that, we have our sports, we have the Performance Lab, which is sports-specific for strength and conditioning. I have guys that have degrees and that kind of thing, teaching people how to be stronger, quicker, faster, jump higher. Fortunately, that's all in under one roof.
Yeah.
So we have the best of the best all in one place in the Valley. So I don't, we definitely walk the walk, we walk our talk. So that's just the kind of place we got here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you.
And Chewy's going to show us around the gym right now, so check it out.